CM Punk's reputation is, let's just say, complex. He's certainly a polarizing figure amongst talent and fans, a bit like me in the What Culture office, I suppose. You either love him or you hate him, with him either being looked upon as a villain or just simply misunderstood. He didn't abide by the regular norms in wrestling, of course, often clashing with creative and management in WWE, whilst continuously standing up for undervalued talent. And despite leaving the business over 7 years ago, he is well and truly back now. And some people just can't let things go. With that in mind, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, and these are 10 people in wrestling that still hold a grudge against CM Punk. Number 10, Lana. In November 2019, CM Punk shockingly signed with Fox to be an analyst on WWE Backstage on their FS1 channel. That went well. As part of this, he gave his take on the much-contended storyline between Rusev, Lana, and Bobby Lashley, mentioning how Rusev likely doesn't want to continue working with his real-life wife in these melodramatic angles. He also joked about having a loser keeps Lana match at WrestleMania, with Lana being suspended above the ring in a shark cage. Lana, for one, didn't take kindly to all this, accusing Punk of making male chauvinistic remarks, which was a bit of an odd accusation all in all, given Punk and his wife AJ Lee are notable feminists. Number 9, Hulk Hogan. CM Punk certainly doesn't hold back his feelings and emotions about certain individuals, exemplified by his thoughts on Hulk Hogan. In 2015, after Punk's hockey team, the Chicago Blackhawks, lost in the Stanley Cup final, Hogan tweeted, "Like I said, the Blackhawks are in a whole lot of trouble. They should take their puck, Punk, and go home. CM can show them the way, brother." Punk then came back with the savage reply, "You mispronounced the team captain's name and didn't even know the coach's name. You're a hack. Shut the up or I'll wreck you, Hulk Hogan." Punk later doubled down on his comments last year when Hulk Hogan's name came up in an interview, saying, "I was never a Hogan guy. I've met him and like him even less now. Fuck him." Oh, okay. Number 8, Vince McMahon. Yeah, probably should have put this one higher up on the list, to be honest, nowadays. Anyway, Punk used Backstage when he worked there to call out WWE for some of their creative output as well as their questionable booking decisions. You wonder why WWE ever allowed Punk to be a panelist for the show when they knew he wouldn't toe the company line and he'd give his honest opinions. Vince McMahon reportedly very reluctantly agreed to only allow CM Punk to be a part of it on the request of Fox officials, and maybe that robot or whatever it is, who held a lot of enthusiasm for him. It was also reported Vince said Punk was, quote, "not to be trusted and has serious issues," and that he's the one superstar he can't do business with. Number 7, Ryback. Yeah, no prizes for guessing this one on the list. Another grudge related to CM Punk's Art of Wrestling podcast appearance with Colt Cabana, of course. On it, the straight-edge superstar verbally goes after Ryback, venting about the difficulty working with him in the ring, suggesting he was unsafe, and characterizing him as a steroid guy who took 20 years off his life. Ryback strongly denied the accusation and has expressed his own aversion to working with Punk. When asked who his least favorite performer to work against was, Ryback replied, "Punk. It was like working a 90-year-old Karen." Number 6, Corey Graves. It came to light after Punk lost to Mike Jackson at UFC 225 in his second fight, with Graves laying into him with multiple tweets. For example, this one that reads, "Maybe abandoning everybody who stood by your side even when we weren't supposed to, only to have you turn your back on us, wasn't the right move after all. No anger, only sadness." He later continued, "I'm just really bummed that I had a true friend turn his back on me for no other reason than the company that employs me." When asked to clarify what he meant with his comments on Punk, Graves stated, "It kind of shocked me when I texted him about grabbing dinner because we were in Chicago and he told me he no longer had any interest in being friends with me or anybody related to WWE. Number 5, Triple H. Yeah, another gimme on this list. Punk hasn't held his feelings back regarding Triple H in the past. The highlight, of course, calling him Vince's doofus son-in-law in his infamous pipe bomb promo. And he's also let it be known that Triple H never liked him. On his Grilling JR podcast, Jim Ross revealed there was some truth to the rumors of Triple H holding CM Punk back. JR said, "I remember someone saying, well, his ass is too big. His ass is too big and it's too soft. It was Hunter. It was all about the workout shit, man, or how he looked in an 8x10 or whatever. I think the consensus was, this guy may not be in great shape because he looks soft. And I'm saying that his softness, as far as his ass issue, which is a non-issue in my view, is basically based on the fact that the perception was he had an oversized, soft ass. Thanks, JR. Cheers for clearing that one up, mate. Number 4, Colt Cabana. Oh, I really hope this isn't the case anymore. Of course, in a surprising turn of events, friends of nearly 20 years, CM Punk and Colt Cabana fell out in a major way over the last few years. It all boils down to the aforementioned Art of Wrestling podcast, during which Punk got out all of his grievances about WWE. On the podcast, Punk talked about his time in WWE and the medical issues he endured, calling attention to Doc Chris Amann, the company's senior ringside physician. Amann would sue Punk and Cabana over the derogatory remarks, and Punk and Cabana ultimately won the trial, but Cabana would later sue Punk for breaking a text message promise, allegedly, of making sure you are 100% covered, in reference to Cabana's legal costs. Let's just hope now they are both back together in AEW, they can become best pals again, eh? Come on, lads. Number 3. Hornswoggle. CM Punk and Hornswoggle were friends for a good period of time when they were both in WWE, but like Cabana and Graves though, they eventually fell out in a big way. Swoggle says it started when he lost his phone and asked Punk for the number of a shared friend, to which Punk was hostile, believing Swoggle was taking advantage of their friendship. And when asked who in the locker room he had the most heat with, Swoggle replied, "Just CM Punk being a dickhead. I never called him out on it, it wasn't worth it. For a while, we were very close though." Aww. Number 2, AJ Styles. Punk criticised Styles for not speaking up and instead staying quiet regarding the Black Lives Matter movement. AJ, from the conservative Gainesville, Georgia, in the past has opposed various issues affiliated with left-wing viewpoints. When asked about it a few days later in an interview, AJ said about Punk's comments, "I will not react at all coming from a guy that I don't have any respect for anyway. I'm not going to react to people saying ridiculous and stupid things." On his Twitch stream, AJ added this regarding Punk: "I'm all about business, and some people I don't think are capable of doing good business. It's that simple. He's not worth my time. This guy just likes to get attention, even if it's bad." Number 1, The Miz. Last year, The Miz was a guest on WWE Backstage in an episode Sans Punk, during which he joked, "Sorry I didn't change the culture." It was an obvious quip on Punk stating when he first debuted as an analyst for Backstage, just when they think they've got the answers, "I change the culture." Punk, yeah, he didn't like that comment. He immediately took to Twitter and didn't hold back with, quote, "Go suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you f***ing dork." Punk quickly deleted it, but it didn't matter as screenshots ran rampant online. It was kind of bizarre, to be fair, especially considering Punk had only recently advised Seth Rollins to avoid tweeting regrettable words in the heat of the moment. And this, that kind of falls into that category, doesn't it? Punk's tweet was twofold. It took a malicious shot at The Miz, but also WWE's highly controversial deal, of course, with Saudi Arabia, a relationship which has drawn a lot of scrutiny after the assassination of a Saudi-based journalist for the Washington Post. It's unclear where the heat for Miz comes from with Punk, with many believing it stems from Miz headlining WrestleMania above him at WrestleMania 27, of course. Miz was recently asked about Punk's tweets and why Punk still holds heavy animosity towards him, commenting, "I have no idea, to be honest with you. To be honest, I thought we were friends. It's just one of those things where you're like, God, man, I don't get it. I don't get him. People were still talking like I didn't deserve to be in that spot. Blah, blah, blah. Let's put it this way. There was no one that generated more heat, more bad guy orientated, couldn't stand you type of heat, if you will, than me at that moment. Can't we all just get along, guys?" And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. And you can find me at Adam Wilborn. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from What Culture, and I'll see you soon.